Hello everyone, it is Christine here and I am back to share a fun technique for dyeing fabrics that you can use in your slow stitch or other projects. And it's a technique called resist dyeing. So you're basically going to be creating areas of your fabric which resist the dye and stay white or whatever the underlying base color is of your fabric. Now for my fabrics I'm just using old sheet that I'd folded up into little areas to use as pages in a book, but I just had a pile of ones that weren't quite the right size, and so I've used sections of those, and I've been using my Inktense blocks which look like this for the painting. Some of it I've been diluting down in the second half. These ones on the front are the more intense ones where I was brushing the brush across the actual Inktense and then applying it to the fabric. And what I'm using as my resist medium is Yoo-Hoo glue. So I've heard of other people using glue, but I haven't heard of anyone using Yoo-Hoo glue. But it's my preferred glue to use with fabric because it's washable, it washes out, and it doesn't form a strong sort of really sticky bond. Because it's a warm day, I've popped these in the fridge and freezer to see if that just helps keep them a bit more steady, because they can get a little bit soft in the heat. So that's just a little tip for you. So I've done 2 batches today. The ones on the top, as I mentioned, were with taking the brush across the paints and then straight onto the fabrics. That's why you get some of these lovely brush marks, which I really like. And then the second lot were where I mixed up some of the Inktense with some water and then brushed it on from that mixed mixture. So the ones at the back are a bit lighter. So with this one, I basically just put some dashes with some smudges, I guess, with the Yoo-Hoo glue onto the fabric. With these first ones as well, I let them dry, let the glue dry before I brush the paint on. With the second batch, I actually just put the glue on and did that across all the various sheets that are at the bottom here, and then I did the painting onto them all in one go, but I didn't expressly give them a full drying. What I found with the glue is it tends to just stay where it needs to stay, and as long as you're not brushing sort of too heavily over it, you don't necessarily have to do that drying stage in between if you just want to kind of get onto it. So yeah, that's the first one where I just put the smudges on and then brushed over. This one I did some lovely swirls and I just absolutely adore that. Again, just love with the brush work, just seeing that sort of variation in colour. So I think with the ones I'll do with you, we'll do that version. This one just did some squiggles like the sea or clouds or something. Now these were the ones where I mixed up the paint into a sort of a lighter consistency. This one I stuck a doily onto the piece of fabric. Now the doily didn't, because it had quite intricate design, it didn't totally stick down evenly, but I kind of like that you've got this really organic shape there. This one I stuck down like a fir tree or a sort of like a cypress type tree, so it was harder to get it to sort of fully stick down, but I love that it's got this feeling of like water squirting up the page or something, or it could even be a mountain or something. So yeah, just love the effects that you can get. With this one, I put some glue around the rim of the dish and then stamped it on, and sort of in overlapping circles, so I do like that one as well. This one has little birds on it, so I used, where has my little birdie stamp gone? There it is. I used this little bird stamp, which is a brooch, and I just put, well, it's not a stamp actually, it's a brooch that I turned into a stamp, put glue on the front and then stamped it. What I love about it, and we'll do some of this together, is you don't always get a perfectly defined bird. Like this one, the head's not sort of fully defined and part of the body, but it just looks like the most perfect little wings and a little differently coloured head. So I think this is really fun, and then you can stitch into it and stitch around it. I'll be doing more of those. This one I love as well, which is using maple leaves, and we'll do one of these together. And with that I actually stuck the maple leaves down rather than just using them as a stamp, stuck them down and then painted over. And then this was just using up the paint at the end, flicking some paint onto it, And this one was done on the board, which is an old cutting board that I was about to throw out from the kitchen yesterday, but luckily I kept. And it's got lovely lines, so as I sort of pressed this fabric in to mop up the paint left on the board, I got this fabulous pattern. So let's get stuck into it, because I'm sure you want to see how it's done. So let's take one of our sheets. I'm not going to worry about the fact it's got the sort of the line in the middle. I'm going to put those little weights on, and then we actually need to have a board that we can do our gluing on. So I might just hover around. I might actually move this. I'm just going to organise myself a little bit on the table. I'll move this down a smidge. I'll put a board over here that I can do gluing on. I've got a leaf blowing across the table. And I might just bring you up a little bit like that, so we can just see a bit more. So this is one of my glues that's been in the fridge or freezer. I think this one might have been in the freezer. So I'm going to take one of my leaves. Okay, and then we're just going to start sticking them down. And I want them kind of to go right to the edges, so some of them will just sort of, yeah, poke a little bit off the edge. Use different size ones. I think it has definitely helped putting the Yoo-hoo in the freezer, because before it was getting a bit smushy. And I'll put them all different directions. So I hope you're having a great day or a great evening. It's the Saturday before Easter, Easter Saturday here. I'm not sure when this video will go up. I might leave it till after Easter, because I'm sure folks are pretty busy at the moment, whether you celebrate Easter or do other things. Maybe go away for a break if you've got a few days off. So big and small leaves doesn't matter. It's actually nice, I think, to have a mix. These leaves will soon be coming off in autumn. They'll be falling to the ground, and well, first of all they turn sort of, yeah, nice ready colour, and then the branches become bare, but they've, yeah, grown really lush over this season. Another one of the branches that has some bigger leaves on. Not worrying too much about the stems. They're not stuck down, so they won't form the sort of stemmy shape before I cut them off, but I don't think I actually need to do that. Don't need to be fussy. And don't worry if little bits of glue sort of smush out like they did on that one. It'll just add some more organic detail to the design. And yeah, if I was doing leaves, I'd try and find ones with interesting shapes like this, because I think it just, yeah, the more interesting details on the leaf, the more interesting print you're going to, or not print, sort of reverse or resist shape you're going to get. I think I broke off a bit of leaf there, but probably doesn't actually matter. I just put one coming up onto it over here. I probably don't need it, but we'll give it a go. Probably just cut the rest of that off. Nice little one here. So yeah, just try and get the glue as much as possible on the leaves, because it's the glue that does the resisting. If you just had the leaves sitting on the fabric and you painted over, the glue, I mean the ink would actually sort of, yeah, seep underneath. So it's the glue that's doing the doing the magic here. But rather than trying to stamp the leaves on, it's much easier just to stick the leaves on, and then the glue gets stamped in the process. Because originally I was just thinking, oh, I'll just stamp the sort of the leaves down onto the surface, but it actually worked out much easier sticking them down. That's why it's good to experiment before I turn the camera on, so I can give you the tips and the lessons I've learnt along the way. So yeah, such lovely weather, perfect weather for this time of year. Autumn is a nice time actually, because it's not usually too hot. We have had quite a hot time recently, but it's nice that it's cooled down a bit, but still sunny and lovely. So I'm just getting rid of these just so they're not in the way too much. Okay, need a few more leaves to finish the fabric, because yeah, I'd like to do another video where I stitch into some of these pieces. I'll have to have a think what I might want to make with them, because I do like to make useful things, not just, I know stitching is sometimes good to do without a plan, but I've got quite a lot of things in my craft room, so I want to kind of make things that are useful. Maybe a little table runner or something could be nice with this, all the different dyed and stitched pieces. Or maybe a little sort of patchworky style lap blanket, who knows. So I'm just moving down the piece. Travis has come back from, I think Alex took him for a little drive, so he's down here. Do you want to see Travis? Hang on. Travis! Travis! Hello! Hello! You can see me as well. Hello! It's all the people, Travis. That's who Mummy talks to. Sorry, you probably saw my stomach as well. You didn't need to see that, did you? Okay. Now this leaf is got a little curly bit on it, but I think it will still be a-okay. Travis is very intrigued about what Mum's doing with leaves. He's like, I'm not allowed to chew up leaves, Mum. So what are you doing? What are you doing with them, Mum? And I think I just need one. Just going to blow away. The wind is blowing up. Hopefully it's not creating havoc with the sound. Hopefully you're not getting that sort of gusty sound of leaves. Travis is so funny, he spotted this little decoration that I normally have hanging off my camera stand, which had come down with it, and I had it sitting on the seat, and I think he thought, oh, that's going to be fun to play with, but I worked out what he was up to before he was able to do it. Okay, so there we go. Let's just chop the bit that we don't need off that one. So I'll move my gluey surface out of the way for the time being. And I will put something down to hold that down. Then we will get our Inktense, and we will do our painting of it. In fact, actually, maybe before we do that, sorry, just thinking, reverse Christine. I'm thinking before I do that, I might do the stamping with the little birds first. So, I'll just give this a quick wipe with a bit of water, and then I'll turn it over and we can use the other side for the bird stamping. Just clean a bit of the glue off. It probably won't come perfectly off, but it won't do any harm to the table. This is a very rough and ready outdoor table. Except maybe I will need to use this one because the other one has a bit of a rough surface on the back of it, so we might use this one. And I'm just going to grab our next bit of fabric. I'm going to grab the bird. I might grab my other, no, that one's still gooey, even though it's been in the fridge, so I think I'll stick with the freezer one. And we're just going to start the process of just smirching some glue over our little bird. I might just use the scissors to hold the fabric down. And so then I'm going to just push my bird down again. I think it just adds charm if it doesn't form a perfect shape. So again, I'm just going to, and I'm going to put the birds in different directions. You probably can barely see the glue, but I can tell it's making an imprint, even as I say, if it's not a perfect imprint, it's not the, it actually adds to it. Travis wonders why I'm outside talking to myself. He's thinking, well, do I need to call the authorities? And Mum only normally does that up in her bedroom. Well, not her bedroom, sorry, in her craft room. Used to be a bedroom. Now it's a craft room, studio, office. So I'm just applying the glue and popping the little bird print on. And Travis has sat down next to me on the ground. He's like, okay, I'll hang out with Mum. I'll make sure she's okay. Oops, sorry, just bumped the camera with my arm. Just again, applying my glue. Haven't worn this brooch for ages. I've actually had it sitting down as part of a little display we've got on our hall table. And I thought, oh, that would be fun to try. Okay, so I think that's done, and it's good the glue just washes off the brooch after I'm finished. So we'll put that one to the side, and sorry, bump the camera again. Come back to this one, and I will grab my brush, and I'll put some water into here. And I'll start the process of putting the paint on, and I might use a variety of different ones from around here just so we get that kind of variation. Add a bit more water as I go, a bit more of the I want it quite as purpley as it was in the middle there, so just meld it out a bit. Travis has just gone running off. Oh, there's a bird landed. He's like, nope, birds. Normally, like we see birds when we're out on the walk, but he's like, nope, bird, you can't be here. Mum's crafting. Mum's talking to her special friends. It's owned by invitation only. Did you get rid of the bird, Travis? No, he's watering the lawn, as you do when you're a Labrador. So sorry, I'm not actually showing you what I'm doing with my paint, so let me just move them a bit more into shot so you can see at least part of the process. Actually, maybe I'll turn myself around this way. So I'm just getting water on my brush, and again I'll put my water over there, and then I'm just picking up a bit of the colour and just swiping it on. which will give me that more intense colour like my first pieces had, whereas with the second pieces I diluted some of the Inktense down in water and used it that way. And you can then just get a bit more water and just let it kind of blend some of your brush strokes, but I quite like the brush strokey effect. I think that is a nice finish. I feel like maybe I need a bit more around here. Yeah, I think that's actually really nice. Very, very happy with that. I think maybe a tiny bit extra down here, just around where this is, and that will be that. So I'll just move that one over to the side around here, and then we will grab our little birdie one. Again, I'll just use, for ease of it, I'll use similar colours, I think. Now the little mosquitoes that come out are starting to come out, so luckily I'm going to be finishing this video soon, because it's obviously that point in the day where they're like, nope, we're going to come and have some feasting on some tasty human. So as you can see, even though I haven't given the glue a full like drying on the line in the sun or anything, it just stays in place really well. The only thing would just be to make sure you don't kind of mix any in with your Inktense, because then I guess your Inktense would become a bit resistant, but I haven't found that's happened so far, so I think it will be just fine. And again, I just don't want to go too much over the top. I kind of just want to have that nice variation. So I'll let those dry. So I thought I'd better show you what it's like to remove the leaves. So I'm doing this just after I've painted it. I was about to hang it out, and then I thought, no, I can actually remove the leaves now. I don't need to let them dry onto the piece, because as you can see, they've done their job of keeping the glue on the surface and allowing the fabric to resist the paint pattern. So with the directly brushed on paint, it's a really striking finish. Still get a little bit of that nice seepage, but yeah, it's great. I think I actually like when it seeps a bit, because you get a bit of that leaf shape, a little bit of the like the vein of the leaf showing. So yeah, that's how that looks. So the pieces have now dried in the afternoon sun. We are in the very sunny spot, so probably it's not showing out that well, but you can see how it has actually worked exactly as planned. And the glue has provided the resist to the dye. You can particularly see that on this beautiful piece with the leaves. So now we'll head into the laundry trough and we'll give it a wash off. I do it under warm water because I find that actually gets the glue off it. But as you can see, even now, it's actually feeling very much like fabric. The great thing about the Yoo-Hoo glue is it doesn't give you a stiffness that you can't stitch through, but I prefer to give it a wash. And because the Inktense have been fully activated and then set, they won't lose their colour, as you will see. So now I'll give them a wash under some warm water. Do the one-handed wash because I've got the camera in my other hand. No fancy filming set up in here. And as you can see, there's not glue or anything coming out of them because the Inktense has fully cured on the fabric. Cured probably isn't the right term, but it's fully become yeah, able to withstand a wash with water. So yeah, just using some warm water and just yeah, rubbing any of the glue off that might be on the surface and just giving it a bit of a scrunch. And I usually leave the other ones underneath in the sink so they start their washing process anyway, and then I just finish it with a bit of a run over. And then the next step will be to take them back out to the line and to let them dry. And then the next bit of this video you will see is when they have fully dried. I'll give you a look at them. So here are the finished pieces after they've dried. This was after I washed them in the sink in hot water and left them out to dry. It's the next day. They actually dried by last night, but I didn't get a chance to film them. And so just love how the fabric has come out. So that's the one with the leaves. Probably if I did it again I wouldn't put that purple into the mix, but I'm just going to embrace that. So that's the leaves. And then this is the little print with the little bird brooch. And as I say, I'm really looking forward to stitching into this and creating my own birds. And I just love that they've all come out differently. So it actually looks like they are different birds, even though they were created with the same little shape. And even some of them are quite sketchy, but I think that's going to be really fun to stitch into. And I just love how the brush strokes particularly just give a real interest to the fabric. And again, I love even where some of the ink has seeped into the actual leaves as well. And you can see parts of the vein. But definitely a great technique, really easy, using very sort of simple things like Yoo-Hoo glue. In my case, I was using the Inktense Blocks. I'm sure you could use a diluted acrylic or other paint medium. If you weren't worried about it being colour fast, you could even use a watercolour. Just have a play and see what works for you. But yeah, I'll definitely be doing more, and I'll keep an eye out for shapes around the house that I can use. Thanks everyone, and in probably the next episode of this, I'll do some stitching into the pieces. Thanks everyone, bye.